How many times do you hear that millennials are lazy, entitled, and the worst generation ever, period? If you have an internet connection, are a millennial, know a millennial, or exist, you've probably heard any or all of these things about millennials. I'm here to say that's simply not true. Here's the thing. Millennials are no better or worse than any other generation. Every generation hears that they're worse than the previous generation. Normally, it's the previous generation telling the new generation that they're worse off. I wonder why. But for millennials, because of the internet, we're not just hearing this from our parents or our parents' friends or a couple older people. We're hearing it everywhere. We're hearing it on Twitter. We're hearing it on Facebook. We're hearing it in TV and social media. We're hearing it from our bosses. We're hearing it on LinkedIn. Literally, it's coming in from all sides. And that's just not fair. Do we have our flaws? Yes, of course. But we're not the generation that bought 1 million pet rocks. We're also not the generation that sent people of color off to fight in World War II, and then when they came back, said they still had to use a separate water fountain. We're not the people who supported slavery. We're not the people who told women they couldn't vote. We're not the people who yada, 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 yada. Does that mean that we're better than previous generations? No. But in the grand scheme of things, we really haven't done many terrible things. In fact, our generation is pretty unique. We're industrious, we are entrepreneurs. I have so many friends that are starting their own businesses, yet I know very few older adults, baby boomers, who have started their own businesses. We're hardworking. I've seen studies that we're working more than the previous generation. We're working more jobs, we're working longer hours, we're taking less vacation. But despite the fact that we're taking less vacation, we're exploring more, we're traveling more, we're breaking the rules. Yeah, traditions are being broken, and that can be really scary, especially for the people who've lived or started those traditions. But the thing is, traditions change and rules change, and that's what our generation is doing. We're looking at the rules and deciding, does this make sense for me? On the other hand, because we're trying to figure out these rules, we are kind of a lost generation. We're frustrated, we're confused, we're really struggling a bit. We're the first generation who's really dealing with social media and the internet in this way, and we're trying to figure out what our place is in it. Now, for those generations that try to harass millennials for the fact that we had the internet and social media growing up, here's the thing. If you had that when you were growing up, 9 times out of 10, you would have been eating it up just the same way we are. You know how I know? Because at the age of 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, y'all are eating it up now. Again, no one's better, no one's worse. But you have to stop looking at us and saying that we're the worst generation or that we're somehow lesser than you. We're facing our own struggles. We face the global financial crisis. We're facing race issues. We're facing a crazy election cycle. We're struggling with student debt. We're having our own struggles, and that's just what happens. So, in the meantime, instead of listening to all the haters, all the people who are telling us that as millennials we're just no good, it's time that we work together as millennials and figure out this new, rapidly changing world. The older generations are not bad. They're our parents, they're our grandparents, we love them to death. But their world that they grew up in is so much different than the world we're growing up in. So it's important that we also listen to our peers, the people who are just a couple years ahead of us but are already forging new paths. And that's what my channel is about, life skills for the new millennium. It's time that millennials help millennials and that we figure out our own rules and figure out how we are going to find our own measures of success. Please like, comment, and share this video. Whether you want to support my channel or not, just let people know that millennials are no worse or no better and that we're just not going to take the hate. If you would like to support me, you can of course subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook at The Grown Up Millennial and of course on Twitter at Grown Up Millen. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all later.